I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you already know that the title of tonight's show is Bend Before You Break. And that is because today there is a lot of light in the sky, because we are having a full moon today at 1 degree of Libra. And Libra is the sign of peace and partnership and the law and all legal contracts. And it rules bending. In other words, it rules compromise and diplomacy and tact and charm. And it also rules the arts, and it rules decorating. And it simply rules negotiations, the kind where you maybe could give an inch or whatever just to sort of keep everybody happy. So I am advising, since the full moon is in Libra, to bend right now, or to consider that instead of breaking. And that is because that full moon in Libra today is trining Libra's own ruler, Venus, which is in Aquarius right now, and Aquarius rules the future. And those two planets are also trining the sign of Gemini, which rules easy transitional change and being flexible and adaptable and enjoying temporary or part-time things. That is a sort of a good way to go right now, to consider these things, because actually the battle lines are hardening right now. And that's why, you know, you might have a choice this week between bending a little bit or perhaps breaking. And that could be painful, so I hope you don't go that route. But you could be tempted to, because the battle lines are hardening. And that is coming from the fact that that very same Venus in Aquarius, which is a fixed sign, is squaring Mars and Uranus in Taurus, another fixed sign, which is a financial sign. And what is happening right now is rather curious. The rulers of some signs are in harsh aspect to the signs they rule. And that's what's happening right now. Venus is in Aquarius, and Venus is the ruler of Taurus. So Venus is squaring the sign it rules. It rules two signs, Taurus and Libra. And at the same time, Uranus is in Taurus, but Uranus rules Aquarius. And so it's squaring the sign it rules. What that means is that the battle lines are hardening, not only because these planets are in fixed signs, and fixed signs don't budge, but they're hardening because somebody is trying to do something, and they've sort of got it backwards right now. Or they're presenting something in such a challenging way that nobody is agreeing on anything. That's what I mean by the battle lines are hardening. At the same time, greed can be quite a motivation right now. Why? Because that same Uranus and Mars in Taurus are trining Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. So there are 4 planets in the hard-working Earth signs, and 3 of them are malefic planets. Mars and Uranus are malefic planets because they represent sudden surprising change, and that's Uranus, and Mars can represent greed or jealousy or hate or passion or aggression or even war. And they are trining another malefic planet, Saturn, which can represent a very staunch, almost hard-edged views about things, and it is conjuncting Pluto. So these planets are all trining each other, meaning that for reasons, people at the top, particularly in large corporations or government agencies, which is what Capricorn rules, can be motivated by greed or have to respond to others who are motivated by greed. So that's not too pleasant. And we have to remember, of these 4 planets, none of them are loving planets. They really mean business. Okay, so we have to watch out for that, because that could be a reason somebody could break right now. But also, that very same full moon in Libra today is opposing the sun in Aries. So the full moon is at 1 degree of Libra. That means that the sun is at 1 degree of Aries. These are the lights. But the lights are being harshly squared by that Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. And this is setting up a very harsh T-cross among cardinal signs. And so that simply means that some people's ruthlessness right now, it's not just greed, it can be something where somebody is very ruthless. That ruthlessness could break them. And that's why people have to step back now and consider bending a little bit. That would be better than breaking. Because what is happening in this T-cross of 4 planets in cardinal signs, which includes the lights, is that people are coming to some sort of a standoff that nobody can win. In other words, if you get into one, you're not going to win it, and you're not going to go anywhere. Neither is somebody else. And so, you know, what's to be gained from that? Nothing. So you have to be very careful how you choose to respond to something this week. At the same time, we have to remember that that full moon today is in Libra, and Libra rules the law. And so, since that full moon in Libra is beautifully trining Venus in Aquarius, which rules the future, it simply means that future prospects for some peaceful resolution are looking pretty good. In other words, maybe you can't achieve something right now, but you could in the future. So just remember, it might be better for you to go ahead and try to instigate some sort of a compromise that could put you in a more flexible position so that you can bend either now or at a later date rather than break. And so the main question arises right now, which will win, greed or the law? Well, I don't know the answer to that, except that certainly it's going to depend on how willing you or someone else is to bend before they break. And so that's what we're facing this week. And I hope you've got your peace hat on instead of your war hat. But there are going to be some people that are just going to harden their battle lines, and that's what you need to watch out for. Okay, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, for you, you can be caught in a sort of an indecisive or confusing position right now because yours is part of this harsh T-cross. Your sign is in cardinal signs, and that's because, yes, the sun is in your sign at 1 degree, but it is being opposed by that full moon today at 1 degree of Libra, and it's being harshly squared by Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. So it would be tempting for you to get into some kind of a standoff right now with authority figures who could be ruthlessly insisting on having their way, which they could get. And so I urge you not to go down that route, Aries, if you can possibly help it. Don't rise to the bait. If somebody is daring you to do anything, this is not the time for you to take them up on it, Aries. Instead, the sun in your sign is trining Jupiter in Sagittarius. That's a good sign. It does mean that you might have to reach out, not in your local area, but for things at a distance or people at a distance who can be very good to you and help you out. Or travel would be well aspected right now as well. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, you can be very stirred up right now and motivated maybe by greed. Now, it could be in a work situation that you simply want to be paid more. And so you could be very motivated to work hard for a promotion. Or if you have been working hard and you haven't been paid for that, that could be pretty upsetting to you right now. Remember, Uranus and Mars are in your sign. And Venus, your own ruler in Aquarius, is squaring those planets in your sign. And that simply means that somebody is trying to approach a matter, maybe a financial matter, in a backward way, and it's not working. So that could be you, Taurus, or it could be somebody else who wants to sort of upset your apple cart in favor of their own greed or their own power plays. And you have to be really careful to back away from getting in a confrontation or a standoff, because you could run into some pretty ruthless people right now, and they could make short work of you. Even though you're a good hard worker, they could decide to live without you, Taurus. And that's why, you know, you need to try to bend before you break right now. Fixed signs don't mind getting in a battle because they are fixed in their opinions. But this is not the time to go to battle, Taurus. So try to try to put on your charm right now, because that could be a good defense for you, simply because if there are other people that want to sort of edge you out of something right now, maybe by being flexible or charming, you could save your battle for another day when the aspects are a little bit more favorable for you to win it. They are not too favorable for that at the moment, so be cautious. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, you can really be feeling very flexible right now and quite agreeable to adapt to something that could be part-time or could be some sort of temporary effort right now. Or you could be quite willing to make some easy transitional change, because the full moon today in Libra is trining your sun, and so is Venus in Aquarius. So for sure, Gemini, your prospects for a peaceful resolution in the future are looking really good. You could pick up a great new partner in the future, or one could be very attracted to you. Or it can be that there is a legal matter that could be settled somewhat favorably for you, and that would make you pretty happy. So I think that that's nice. At the same time, Neptune and Mercury, your own ruler, are still in Pisces, and Mercury is retrograde, meaning that more and more information is coming out behind the scenes, information that had been hidden before. And so you could be finding out the truth about some people that you may have suspected were not on the up and up, and you would have been right about that. And so that could be a little bit disillusioning for you. But on the whole, this is a time when you can be seen at your best. So I hope you get out and sort of circulate right now, Gemini. It'll do you a world of good. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this is the time when I think that it can be a little difficult for you to decide what to do. And for that reason, maybe it's just better if you step back and sort of take a break right now, or a little bit of a pause. And that is because there are 4 planets in cardinal signs, all squaring and opposing your sun sign. And that means that the full moon in Libra today is squaring your sun sign. That could indicate a legal or partnership issue that may not be quite going your way. That could be a little upsetting. And then the sun is in Aries, also squaring your sun sign, which means somebody is thinking of making a new beginning. If you have already been involved in some sort of new beginning, maybe it hasn't quite gone the way you thought it would, and you could be having second thoughts about that. And then the big one is that Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn are opposing your sun sign, and they are being trined by other planets in Taurus, which can mean that some people can be motivated by greed, or they can simply have a rather ruthless intention about getting what they want, and they wouldn't care what you want. So that's why I'm suggesting that you take a little bit of a pause or a break right now, Cancer, because I can't see a way for you to get ahead at the moment. So it might be better just to bend, or as I said, take a time out and just relax a little bit right now and wait until you see a clearer path to take, because one will come. And remember that the solar eclipse in your sign in July is really good for you. So don't worry, better days are coming. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, you really do have to be very careful right now, because you could be surrounded in one way or another, either personally or in your career or socially, by some people who have really got it backward. They can't quite get their act together in a way that makes sense to anybody, and that can be hardening the battle lines. And that is caused by the fact that Mars and Uranus in Taurus are squaring your sun, and Venus in Aquarius is opposing your sun sign, because yours is a fixed sign. So I think that there are actually some people that you should not be dealing with right now, Leo. You should, like, if they call, don't answer the phone, because they could be a little bit on the warpath, or they could be in disagreement about something, and they could be headed straight your way. And you know, they would have a hard edge on them, or they would be really wanting to do battle. And I don't advise you to get in a fight with anybody right now, Leo. I don't think there's going to be any winners if that happens. and you'd be coming up against something that may cost you a great deal of money. So instead, the full moon in Libra today is sextiling your sun. And the sun in Aries is trining your sun. Okay, that's good. The lights are with you, Leo. And so this is a better time for you to consider bending a little bit, or at least offering some sort of compromise. I'm not saying that you're at the stage where you want to compromise, but you could look pretty good by offering some sort of compromise that could put you in a more flexible position to be able to bend maybe at a little later time. And so that would make you not look as if you were wanting to get in a fight at all. And that would be a good defense for you right now, Leo. So either try to bend right now, or else just plain back off from some people who can be quite aggressive and greedy. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, you can be in a position to know people who are being very greedy right now. Mars and Uranus and Taurus are trining your sun. That should not adversely affect you, but it might not be too pleasant to know these people either. And then Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn are also trining your sun, which means that you could know some pretty ruthless people right now. And even if you don't know them, you could be working for them. In other words, they may not be your boss, they might be your boss's boss. Because people at the top right now can be rather ruthless or even greedy about what they want. And they can really go for that. That could actually set up some sort of a standoff that wouldn't benefit anybody, but they could still try that. And so I think that even though these 4 planets and earth signs are all trining your sun, Virgo, this is a better time for you to sort of keep your back to the wall and stay in the shadows right now if you can, because the battle lines are hardening, and you know nothing good is going to come from that, so don't even get involved. Just keep your mouth shut, or go on vacation, or withdraw a little bit if you can. And then on top of that, there is some sort of relationship matter that can prove disillusioning to you in one way or another, because Mercury, your own ruler, is retrograde in Pisces, and along with Neptune, they are opposing your sun sign. Jupiter in Sagittarius is squaring your sun sign. On a little more personal level, there's something that needs to be sorted out in a relationship, and maybe this is a good time for you to just concentrate on that instead and let the heavy hitters do what they want. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, the full moon is in your sun sign today and is being beautifully backed up and fortified by your own ruler, Venus, which is in Aquarius. And that simply means that the prospects for your future are looking real good right now, Libra. And even though yours is a cardinal sign and the sun in Aries is opposing that moon, and Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn are squaring it, still, when your own ruler is trining your sun sign, that is such a positive support for you that I think you can be anticipating somebody very nice in the future. Maybe you don't know them, but they could be headed your way, that could be very drawn to you and quite helpful to you. And they could want to form some sort of partnership or work on some sort of temporary project with you, and they would be absolutely great company. You would really like that. And they could help you make an easy transitional change, Libra. So you've got a lot to look forward to in your future. Just try real hard right now to bend in that direction instead of getting into some sort of a querulous standoff right now. It won't get you any further if you argue with somebody, and it's not your nature to argue a whole lot anyway. So instead, look for toward your future, because it's going to work out really well. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is a time when I think that you need to be pretty careful, and that's because yours is a fixed sign as well, and that means that Venus in Aquarius is squaring your sun sign, and Mars and Uranus in Taurus are opposing your sun sign. I think that if there are matters behind the scenes that involve truth that is now rising to the surface, it could be costly to you, Scorpio, if you have been involved in something hidden behind the scenes. Maybe something that could have been your own choice, but you didn't exactly want anybody to find out about it. Well, now nothing can be hidden, there is no escape, and you may end up having to sort of pay for any little mistake you made in the past. So you should anticipate that your financial situation at the moment is being somewhat threatened, either by people who are very greedy or by some truth that now is exposed and that you may have to pay for. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius, Jupiter is in your sign, which is wonderful because it's a planet that can bring expansion, but it can also bring protection, and that's good. It's also good that the full moon today in Libra is sextiling your sun, and Venus in Aquarius is also sextiling your sun where you have Jupiter. So there are opportunities for you to expand in your life and to do it in a way that does not allow you to run into any of these aggressive or ruthless people. So you might want to start something new, even if it's just a few steps at a time. That could work out, and that's because the sun in Aries is trining your sun. So I think that there are opportunities for you to sort of get around some of these people that are real greedy or very ruthless right now. And if you suspect that there are people around you like that, I would sort of leave them alone, Sagittarius, because you could certainly benefit by bending rather than breaking or by being too strident right now. So just turn on the charm, because I think it'll do you a lot of good. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is a time when I think that you can really feel as if you want to be in charge, or you really know what direction you want to go in. But you could also be prodded now by people who are extremely greedy, and that's because Mars and Uranus are trining your sun. Well, the trine is a good aspect, but Mars and Uranus are malefic planets. They're trining Saturn in your own sign, which is also a malefic planet because it can be a little too hard-edged at times. And also Pluto is there. So what I'm saying is there are 4 planets that are in good aspect to your sun sign, but they are not loving planets. And that means that you have to sort of dial back a little bit on any hard edges or any insistence that you're right now, because it could make you look ruthless even though you're not. And also you could be undecided about things because the sun in Aries is squaring the planets in your sign, and so is that full moon in Libra today. So you need to try to bend right now, or try to offer a compromise on something. And you may not have your heart in that, but that is easier than getting into some very unprofitable standoff where you don't win and neither does anybody else. That is not the way you really want to go right now, Capricorn. So I hope you try something more moderate. Okay, what does it mean to a Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, this is a time when you can be full of anticipation about some sort of nice event that's headed your way, maybe a social event, or maybe something to do with a nice partner, because Venus is in your sign right now, and it is trining that full moon in Libra today. Well, that's a positive aspect. It certainly means that you might be in the mood to bend rather than break, and I hope you are. And that would mean that you need to be open to some sort of easy transitional change or part-time effort or some sort of compromise. And if you go down that road, your future prospects for a peace resolution are very good. But if you allow that Venus in your sign to come up against that greedy Mars and Uranus in Taurus right now, and you harden your battle lines about a financial matter, even if you're right, you are not going to really win. Nobody's going to win a financial argument right now, because they'll just get real stubborn and nothing will get resolved. So I hope you're looking for something in the future that is a little bit more amenable to making you happy, Aquarius. That's what you should go for. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a time, Pisces, with Mercury in your sign going retrograde back in its orbit over ground it's already covered before, that more and more information is going to come out, possibly about something that you've done in your past, Pisces, that you don't particularly want other people to know about or that you regret. But the truth is going to come out right now, and there are no other planets in water signs, you are going to have to deal with something that is coming out in the open right now. And whether you regret it or not, I think that there is the possibility that if you wanted it to remain hidden, of course it won't, and it might mean that you have to sort of pay for something right now. And so I think that the truth is sort of coming at you, Pisces, and you're really going to have to just face it. You don't have to get in a standoff. You just have to acknowledge something and then be willing to go on. Venus is in Aquarius, right behind your sun sign. Your future is looking bright as soon as you get something from your past resolved instead. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show, read our blog, and hear our podcast on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.